All right, so we need another way to solve quadratics because factoring doesn't work for everything. So there's something called the quadratic formula. But before we do that, we need to review how to simplify radicals. All right, so we're going to be doing some square roots. So the first thing that you should make sure that you guys know are at least your first 12 perfect squares. The more you know, the easier this will be. But first 12 is something you guys should already know. So when we're simplifying radicals, we want to see if a perfect square is a factor. All right, so there's two different questions. Okay, with radicals, you could estimate a radical or you could simplify a radical. So when I say estimate a radical, I want to turn this to a number. So like, what number times itself would equal 24? Well, 24 is close to 25. Because 25, the answer would be 5. So this is just going to be a little bit less than 5. So you do your little approximates. So it's the equal sign, like a wavy equal sign. And you go 4.9. All right. And so, but if I said simplify 24, then I'm going to leave it in radical form. I just want to break it down all the way to see if I can pull a factor out in front. So there's two ways to do that. You could do a prime factor tree, which is something you guys did way back in middle school or elementary school. Or you could find the largest perfect square factor of the radicand. The radicand is the number inside the radical. So we'll do it both ways here. So if I did the prime factor tree, right, I could say that this is 2 times 12. And then 12 is 2 times 6. And then 6 is 2 times 3. All right, and so now I have all these prime numbers. I have 3 2s and 1 3. All right, but when I'm doing a square root, okay, I want doubles. All right, if there's any doubles, that number is going to come out in front and all the singles will stay inside the radical. All right, so I could take these, that's a double. And so that means there's going to be a 2 on the outside. And on the inside will be the rest of the prime numbers multiplied up. So 2 times 3 is 6. So the square root of 24 simplifies down to 2 rad 6. Okay, the other way to do that is to find the largest perfect square that goes into 24. So the largest perfect square in this list right here that goes into 24 is 4. That's 4 times 6. And you just square root both of those numbers. Square root of 4 is 2. So you get 2 rad 6, which was the same thing that I got in the prime factor tree. Me personally, I like finding the largest perfect square factor. It makes it 2 steps instead of prime factor trees could take forever sometimes. So I will be doing the rest of the examples by using the largest perfect square factor. Some people don't like that because it's sometimes difficult to find that perfect square factor that goes into it, especially the largest one. So with the prime factor tree, it may take a little bit longer, but you'll always end up getting the right answer. So either way works here. So with 75, it's 25 times 3. And so when I square root both of those, the square root of 25 is 5. So it's just 5 rad 3. Okay, so 147. Okay, that's 49 times 3. So when I square root both of those, 7 goes on the outside and the rad 3 stays on the inside. Okay. 128 is 64 times 2. So the square root of 64 is 8. So that's 8 rad 2. So like that's a tricky one because there's other perfect squares that go into that. And so if you don't find the largest one, you may have to continue to simplify. But if you did the prime factor tree on that one, you are going to get a lot of 2s. All right, so you're going to get 7 2s there. So it's kind of a lot to break down as well. All right, 288 is 144 times 2. So the square root of 144 is 12. So that's 12 rad 2. All right, so again, I like using this strategy. All right, but again, I understand my perfect square factors and I'm good at dividing and figuring them out. If division and stuff is still a little challenging to you, I would recommend the prime factor tree. Just choose whatever number you can find instead of trying to force a fit. Some people like that better. All right. So now I want you to try, okay, the square root of 180. All right. So we want to try to figure out what perfect square goes into 180. That is 36 times 5. So the square root of 36 is 6. So I get 6 rad 5.